everyone. Hi, everybody in the room. Thanks for coming. So if you're a mouse or anything, it's so nice out there. So thank you for putting inside. I thought we would work a little bit today on letting go of tension through your neck and your shoulders. So we'll start on our back. Of course, if you feel more supported sitting upright, you can sit up on the floor, ground. You can sit in a chair. You can lie on your back and construct your breast pose where we come onto the back and bend the knees. Each one of us obviously is going to find our own supportive shape. And as we find our own supportive shape, just that gentle reminder that we all have agency and what we do. So as we settle into practices, remind yourself that you have choice. And if you need to back out of an exercise or pose, physical or breathing, no questions asked. Okay, take care of yourself. And with that, we'll settle into the ground. Giving yourself a few moments here to really connect and feel the stability of the earth beneath you. It might be helpful to remind yourself of the strength, support that comes from the earth. The earth and that strength and stability will hold you up. So if you're feeling some tension or some unneeded tightness, take a couple of breaths, practice letting go into the ground, into the earth. And as we're all here breathing, from this place of stability and grounding, checking in with your breathing. If you're in the room and you have a mask, the mask will give you feedback. We're trying to find a really supportive yet comfortable breath. Trying to breathe in and out through your nose. And taking a full exhale, feeling your exhale. Taking a full inhale, feeling your inhale. Each one of us having our own unique experience. Take a few moments here, noticing, feeling our own experiences. That relationship of breath, grounding. And then when you feel your next exhale, noting, there's my exhale. And let's just bring your hands, palms together out in front of you and rub your hands together to create a little bit of warmth. And then as long as you feel comfortable here, we're just gonna do a little massage around your shoulders. So a little self-massage. You can massage your shoulders. You could go up into your neck. Maybe going into the back of your skull. into your temples, doing your head a little bit. So little self-soothing massage here just to wake up, help ease some tension. And then we'll take about 5 more breaths here. And then we're going to slide your hands down onto your collarbones. So your collarbones are these S-curve bones here, just at the base of the neck out to the shoulders. And we're going to ride the wave of the breath here for just a couple moments. So when we exhale, these bones draw down out of your ears and release or lengthen your big, tight neck muscles. So I'm assuming, you know, because I have tight muscles, which is not fair for everyone else. Maybe you don't have tight neck muscles, but I have tight neck muscles sometimes. And tightness is when, you know, they kind of shorten and don't re-lengthen and get long again. So this happens a lot, I feel, when we're in the winter time and we're shrugging our shoulders up. This happens when we reach forward, steering our bikes or our cars. So when we exhale, let's just take a couple exhales and see for yourself, what do you feel in your collarbones when you take that exhale? Can you feel some relationship to how the breath moves that collarbone down out of the ears? You could even take your hands onto these big rope-like muscles that run from the back of your ears to your sternum. So when we exhale, those big rope muscles get a little longer. And when we exhale, the back of the head draws back into the floor a little more. So you might feel even that when you exhale, the back of the head gets a little heavier. So it's a little challenging for me because I have this mic on, but what we're going to do now is when you exhale, we're going to let your head get heavier and let your collarbone slide down. And then we're going to play a little teeter-totter game between the back of the head and the chin. So as you exhale and you feel your ribs draw down, let your chin drop and the back of your occiput slide up. And then when you inhale, press the back of your skull into the floor and slide your chin up. And just working here on stretching dynamically through the front, sides, and back of the neck. We'll just do about 3 more. And as you work here independently, seeing if you can keep some weight through the back of the head, and you might add the challenge of trying to keep the back ribs down. And then we'll bring the chin back to that neutral shape. So chin just a little more upright. And then we'll take your arms up to the ceiling. Let your arms feel nice and heavy. And then with the exhale, see if you can feel the shoulders and the collarbones draw down out of the ears a little bit, softening, lengthening those big rope muscles in the neck. We're going to take your arms out wide like a T and just hover the arms for 3 breaths. So connecting the arms into the upper back, opening through the chest and the pec muscles there that get so tight sometimes along with the neck and the jaw. And then with a 3rd exhale, we'll sweep the arms up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to either stack or interlace your hands and bring them back behind your head. I'm going to take your elbows nice and wide and float them just a little bit off the floor. And then come back to your exhale. So again, with your exhale, just reconnecting inward, that place of embodiment, feeling the breath through the body, head heavy into your hands. Exhale, ribs, collarbones drawing down, navel knitting in. You're going to start to lift the head, but we don't want to tense up the neck. So
really need to connect into the abdominal rib connection. So as you exhale and feel those lower abdominals, middle, upper abdominals kick on, that's when you lift the head. Support the head, press the head into the arms, arms into the head, and then long spine, lower back down. So learning to lift the shoulders and the head from the abdominals. Exhale, feel the ribs draw down and in, upper, middle, lower abdominals engage. And we lift and do our little sit up and then lower back down. 3 more working here. Trying to keep that tension out of the neck, out of the throat, chest open. If you want more challenge, bring your knees up over your hips. Keeping that low back in neutral. If you want to test your challenge, go a little more. Press your heels together and straighten your legs a little bit up towards the ceiling. So again, try to find that lift from the rib abdominal connection, keeping the chest really open, the back broad, and the throat and the neck soft. 2 more, rest if you need to rest. And then after those 2, lower everything down. And then your arms can come down by your side. And we'll take a 3 breath awareness break. So coming back to your own experience, noticing whatever you notice, back to your breathing. Full commitment exhale, let all the breath out. And then we're going to roll all the way up or over, however you want to come on up to sitting. All right, so we're going to bring your feet out in front of you comfortably, okay, and sit up. And as we sit up, we'll rock a little bit side to side so we can feel an anchor through the sit bones. And then down's going to create up. So we want to sit upright and not, full of rigidity. So we're upright and comfortable. And we're going to really try and work on keeping this low belly, low back strong, and bring your hands behind your head. So elbows nice and wide, just like we were on the floor. Now we're working against gravity a little bit differently. So press your head back into your arms. And when you press your head back, pull your arms forward so you can connect the shoulder blade into the tricep. So we're turning this on. And the more we can feel and connect this, hopefully, the less we're going to clench in the throat. So more tricep, upper back, less throat and neck work. So you're pushing. And then just like you did with the sit up, you're going to draw your ribs back, lift up, and do a little sit up, sit up. So you're sitting up and doing a little bit of sit up work. And then pressing head and arms together, we'll sit back up nice and tall. Try not to push the rib cage forward. 2 more. So noticing the rib abdominal connection to create the length and flexion over. The rib abdominal connection as the ribs drop to sit up nice and tall, shoulders down out of the ears. Okay. Last one. And then we'll sit up nice and tall, but at ease, and bring your arms out in front of you. So with the arms out in front, see if you can sit back to your quiver. So you're going to come back and try when you get to your quiver to not hold this from your neck. Can you still feel some breath and ease across the collarbones? And then we're going to pull ourselves up. Now, each one of us is going to find our own challenge, right? So as you go back, you can go to your quiver here. You might go back and pick up one leg and come up. Okay, so you could go side to side, picking up one leg. You might pick up one leg, pick up both legs and go back to your quiver and come up. Okay, now when you're going back, testing that challenge of the core without tensing in your neck. Without tensing, maybe it's more honest to say not tensing as much, right? So let's try maybe 2 or 3 more. Rest when you need to rest. And then come back to your quiver. Maybe lift your arms and then pull yourself forward. Great. And then we're just going to put your hands on your shins, round your back a little bit and pause. Come in back to your experience. So each one of us, again, has a different experience here. Maybe you're feeling this more physically. Maybe you're feeling this more energetically, like, whew, I'm just tired. Maybe you're feeling this a little more through your breathing. We'll take 2 full inhales and 2 full exhales. And then we'll sit back up, let your eyes open if they haven't, or if you haven't already. And then we'll come either keeping your feet out in front of you like this, or if you prefer, you can come to crisscross applesauce. All right, so again, define your sit bones, nice and grounded, heavy thigh bones. If your knees are really high, you're at home and you want to stack something, you can, okay, or you can come here. So low belly to low back, stabilize. All right, so we're not going to move this a whole lot. We're going to try and keep this really strong and move your rib cage. Okay, but before we move the rib cage, stack your ears over your shoulders. So give yourself that exhale feel to let the shoulders rest down, collarbones drop down, and the head draws back. Okay, chin level. Keep that if you can in your awareness. Don't move your ears, and see if you don't move your ears, if you can just move your rib cage and your shoulders around to the right. So we're not going to strain the neck. In fact, we're going to try and stabilize and not move the neck. And then we're going to come back around, stabilize, don't move the ears. Keep your gaze, maybe your nose straight ahead, and just move the rib cage to the left. Sweet. And then go side to side a little bit. Can you just move the rib cage without moving your neck? It's more of a question. Is it possible? Great. Then as you go to the right, twist the ribs, twist the shoulders, keep your gaze forward, smile, and then take your head around. So then the neck goes. So now you can look over your right elbow, your right shoulder. Keep your eyes looking at your right elbow and bring your rib cage back around to center. And then bring your head. It's kind of an odd game, isn't it? Take your ribs around to the left. Bring your nose around. Okay, now keep your nose around looking to the left. Now bring your ribs around to the center. And then bring your head around. What? Do it one more time. See if you can do it. Only because I'm really finding fun with this one. It's hard because we're so used to doing, right, the twist from the neck first. And so we're breaking it down a little differently. Oh. Yeah, how was that? If you're in the room, how was that? Good? Crazy? Yeah. Let's shake out our wrists before we go to table. Just get the wrists ready. So as you come to your tabletop, do what you need to do. If you need to walk around a little bit, you need to find some rotation in the arm bones and the wrists, do that. You can walk forward and back, shift the weight around, give the upper back along with your core a little bit different load to ease into your table. Strong hands as you look down. Line your ears over your shoulders, shoulders over your hips. So finding that rectangle symmetry. And then 2 breaths across your back. So again, as you feel your exhale, maybe you feel your neck release a little bit, your throat soften. And then floating table, if you want more challenge, float your knees up without changing the shape of your spine a whole lot. And then exhale, either back to tabletop if you want a little less, or back to downward facing dog. We'll take 3 breaths either in your tabletop or in your downward facing dog. And then we'll exhale, come down to your knees if you're in dog. And if it's comfortable for you, curl your toes and sit back on your heels. Okay. Sweep your arms out and up. Remember to try and keep your ribs down and in. And then see if you can feel your shoulder blades slide up and slide down. Shoulder blades slide up. Core nice and strong. Shoulder blades slide down. Couple more. So we need those shoulder blades to slide freely on the back. When those shoulder blades get sticky, if there's an impingement there, that often travels into the neck, giving us extra neck or spine tension. So just feeling the shoulder blades. And then this time we'll take the arms out. Keeping the ribs down and in, let's stretch out. Shoulder blades pinch or pull together. And then we pull and you can cross midline. Great, 2 more. So going out nice and wide, squeezing the shoulder blades. Excellent. Great, last one, then we're just gonna come out wide this time, sweep the arms up. See if you can feel your shoulder blades slide out and up. Nice, and then tabletop. Strong hands, either floating table for a little bit, or maybe walking your legs back and building a straight arm plank. So again, everybody has a place they can work. You could be down in tabletop. You might push back to a child's pose if you want a break. You might find down dog or plank. Strong core connecting to the earth. 3 more breaths. And then with your next exhale, we have to figure out how to come on up to standing. So everybody has their own way of doing that. Maybe you walk your hands and feet together. And we come all the way on up. You can stand. If you're in the room, feel free to turn around and look out at the lake, standing mountain out at the lake. Just giving yourself 3 breaths to really notice your experience. And again, your experience could be physical. You could be feeling your breath. Your mind may have wandered off, and that's just great too. So what's your experience? 3 breaths. And then we use an exhale to let that experience kind of go away for a little bit, and we come back to the present moment by stepping our feet nice and wide. So bringing your hands onto your pelvic crest, onto your hips. Let's just wake up your ankles and your knees and your hips, and let's do 5 sumos. So right away, if you want more challenge, lift your heels just a piece of paper, which will give you a little different challenge. And then more of an energetic physical challenge. Try to keep the throat and the neck collarbones soft and open. And then we're going to come down in your sumo. Heels will come down and we'll find a little bend in the knee and come down and find your center of gravity, nice and strong. See if you can reconnect to the breath. Exhale, ribs draw down and in, navel back. Then hands on the rib cage. All right, so remember the seated twist we just did? We stabilize the pelvis and we stabilize the neck. Can we move the rib cage? So keep your gaze, find a focal point, look ahead, and then spin the ribs to the right. Not the head, just the ribs. Then take the head. Then bring the ribs around. Then bring your head around. Head looks forward, eyes soft. Ribs to the left. Try not to move your pelvis. Then the gaze. Ribs come back. Head comes back. All right, try not to move your two hip bones here. So that's going to take deep core cummerbund strength, okay? Hips don't move. Ribs go to the right. Head goes to the right. Ribs come to center. Head comes to center. Ribs go to the left. Head goes to the left. Pull your right hip crease back a little bit. Rib center. Head center. Excellent. Exhale, sweep your arms out to come up. Shoulder blades slide out and up. Great. Hands come down just to your hips. Straighten the legs. Left leg's going to roll in. Right leg's going to roll out. So you're about heel to heel. Lift up through the front of the hips. Get a little extra stretch in that back left groin, hip flexor. So left back leg can push back as you bend your right knee. All right, so in space, stack your shoulders over your hips. Okay, so you have your symmetrical rectangle core, and then feel your ears. Can you exhale, let your ears draw back a little bit so they're in line with the shoulders. So from ears to hips, it's a box, and you're gonna tip your box over to the right, like side angle, and come up. 2 more times, you're tipping your box. Okay, so try and tip from the hip, and then the head comes last. Awesome, next time your right elbow comes down, right elbow or right hand onto your thigh bone. Line up your box, ears, shoulders, and ribs, and hips. Reach your left arm straight out in front. So it's just palm down. Good. Then we're going to do a little bit of twisting. You're going to take your left arm palm towards your right shin. And then you're going to take your left palm arm back out and maybe spin your chest and look up towards the ceiling. 2 more like that. All right, let's add a challenge. For one, your right hip and your right leg might be getting kind of tired. So you got to keep that focus and strengthen that right hip. Left arm is going to come all the way back to the right shin bone, and your head's going to look down at the floor. Keep your gaze looking down at the floor as you spin your rib cage open. Try not to move your head. Look at the floor, look at the floor, look at the floor. Now, without tensing up in the neck, lengthen the spine and then take the gaze up towards your thumb maybe. 3 breaths. I know, so strong in that right leg hip. We're holding this on purpose. And then find the left arm and pull yourself all the way on up, really strong through both legs. Sweet. Steer both feet forward. Hang out 2 breaths. What do you notice? What do you feel? Right leg rolls in. Left leg rolls out. Line them up about heel to heel. Bend your left knee. Lift up through the front hips. Remember your core. See if you can stack shoulders, ribs, hips in symmetry. With an exhale, invite the collarbones, the neck muscles to lengthen so the ears can draw back. So now you have a longer rectangle, ears to hips, and you're going to tip that whole rectangle over to the left and come up. Can you move from the hip and then the head? So hip goes, head is last. And then the left hand or the left elbow comes down. Pause, reach your right arm straight out, palm faces down. Good, get nice and strong. Right arm's gonna come touch that left shin. Work a little bit on that rotation. Can you feel the rib cage? Rotate. Stabilize nice and strong through your low back. Do you remember our seated twist we just did? Little similar here. I'm getting some stretch through the obliques, strong through the obliques. Next time your right arm comes to your left shin, pause. Stabilize, reconnect. You are strong. You can keep this left hip really strong and stable, okay? You got this. Look down at the left foot. Keep your gaze on the left foot and rotate the rib cage and reach the arm up. Keep looking down, 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 down. Then without straining the neck, lengthen to look forward and maybe look up. 2 or 3 breaths. Then reach up through that right arm, come all the way on up, straighten both legs. Good, hands come to your hips. Whew. Give your hips a little bit of a break, rub them out if they're tight, if they're tired, acknowledge. And we'll take 3 breaths. Sweet, step your feet together. All right, let's turn to the back of your mat. Walk towards the back. Hang out in your standing mountain. Soft bend in your knees. Here we go. Exhale. See if you can feel your shoulder blades again. Slide out to come up. Now, when you reach up, have some awareness for the roof of your mouth, into your jaw, down through your neck, into your chest. With an exhale, can you let your head maybe draw back a little bit? And then anchor into the ground to float and lift up nice and tall and long and strong. We keep that reach as we bend the knees and reach, 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 and fold forward. Stretching out through the back of the legs into the lower back. Inhale, lift your chest. Now, when you lift your chest, pause for a moment. If you need to bring your hands up to your hips, you can, right? You don't have to touch the floor. Notice what's going on in the neck. Do you need to adjust? Maybe pull the chin down a little bit to soften the gaze towards the floor. Check in. Are you straining across the chest, into the throat, into the face? With an exhale, fold. We've got to walk our hands out to plank or down dog or tabletop. You're going to pick one of those places. You might pick child's pose. You might pick table. 3 breaths. Great, back to downward facing dog. And then we're going to exhale, walk your feet up to your hands. Good, inhale, lift your chest again. Check in with your shoulders and your throat and your face. And then we're going to exhale, fold, and step your left foot all the way back. Bringing your elbows up to your knee. Let's bring your left finger pads down by your right big toe. Now, shoulders draw down out of your ears. Knit your ribs. Navel to spine, nice and long and strong through your low back. Right arm's going to come down. Okay. If having your back left leg is really tiring, having it up is really tiring, bring it down. So you can definitely be here. You can be here. Okay. We're going to open that right arm and twist open and close back to the floor and open and close. Last one. You got this. And open. Good. And then bring it back down. Lower your back knee. Pause to come up to like a little 90-90 lunge. Knit your ribs. Soften where you can soften. Maybe that's through the chest, the throat, the gaze. 2 breaths. You got this. Fold forward. And then step your back foot forward. Can't do it wrong. Right? If we work from a place of curiosity, we can't do it wrong. Lift your shoulders, look forward, soften across the chest. Woo. Exhale, fold. Right leg steps back. Maybe your right knee comes down. Right? Maybe your right thigh bone's up. Notice what you're thinking about. Let it go. Come back to your body breathing. Left arm, we're going to twist open and come back. Let your right knee come down if you need to. Come onto your back. Take child's pose if you need to. 3 little twists or 3 big twists. And you re-find your lunge. Never have to stay with the group. You can go rogue and do your own thing at any time. So back to 90-90 lunge. Yeah, if you want to take your arms up, do that. What's your experience? Can you savor it? Right? Even if it's really challenging experience, can we savor it and learn from it? Ooh, come forward. Got to step that back foot forward. And then slowly come all the way on up to standing mountain. And give yourself 2 or 3 breaths. Without looking down, can you just feel your feet? You feel your feet connect into the earth. The rebound of the earth connecting all the way up your body. When you're ready, exhale, arms will sweep out to come up. Bend your knees, long spine, fold forward. Great, step back, downward facing dog. To tabletop. And then we'll sit all the way back and bring your feet out in front of you. All right, we're all really different, remember? So we have to get onto our backs. So maybe you're just like, screw it, I'm going back. If you want to go back through a little bit more strength, you can go back. You can hold on to the back of your legs. I know I read some of your minds there. I saw it in your face. You're like, what is she making us do now? All right, so let your arms come down. Pause. This might be a really nice place to find some gratitude for your body and your breath. We'll take 3 breaths. And then come down to your navel and your pubic bone. So bring awareness down to those two places, we're just going to start some pelvic rock and rolls. So you can press your navel down and tuck your tail pelvis under, and then push your pubic bone down and tilt your low back up. Okay, so feeling this connection right now of low back into your pelvis. And then just coast back to neutral where the belly button is stacked a little more over your pubic bone. And then come back to what you're feeling through your face and your neck and your chest. So in your own way of understanding, soften through the big rope muscles in your neck. Try and soften down through your chest. And then with your arms down by your side, press down into your triceps, back of the arms, and start to roll up into a little bit of a bridge. Now, when you roll up into bridge, trying to keep that feeling of ease through the chest and the throat and the face, roll down out a bridge back to constructive rest. And just do that a couple more times. So this relationship of rolling your spine up into bridge with your throat, your chest, your face. And then as you're rolling up into bridge, if you want to hold your bridge, feel free. Seeing in your bridge if you can feel and connect a little more, or for some of us, it might feel like a lot more, through the back of the arm. So you really press those triceps down. And then nice and long through the front of the hips without a whole lot of extra tension in the throat or the chest. Noticing your experience for 3 breaths. And then we roll down segment by segment and take a couple breaths. All right, here we go. So if you want to hold on to the edges of your mat, you could find the outside edges of your mat, like pull your mat down away from you. So if you're holding on to mat, it's like you're pulling your shoulders down out of your ears. And you can connect into your triceps and then roll up into your bridge. And then just try and keep that experience, that feeling of ease through the face. Maybe press a little deeper into your heels, trying to get your pubic bone higher, 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 higher. And not giving up length. So we're still looking for length from your pubic bone out over your knees. 3 breaths. See if you can feel your glutes, your butt muscles, your hamstrings, your hips. And when you're ready, lower it all down. And then when you get all the way down, you can bring your knees up over your hips and send your heels, feet up to the ceiling for a hamstring stretch. You can take your arms out like T's. We'll take 3 breaths. And then after 3 breaths, bending, bringing your feet back to the floor. Can take your feet about as wide as your mat. Now really pay attention to your low back. This one isn't for everyone. So you know your low back a lot better than I do. So we just windshield wiper the knees side to side. And as you go over, you're letting the opposite hip pop up. That's fine. And just making sure you don't feel any compression, tweaking, jamming, anything like that. And then we'll go one more time to each side. And then we'll bring the knees back to stillness. We'll walk your legs or feet still about as wide as your mat. And then we'll just let your knees drop in together, but really push the knees together here. So your feet are pretty wide, maybe wider than your mat, and you're pressing in. And see, then again, if you can really soften through the throat, down through your chest, letting the back of the ribs be nice and heavy. And then bringing your knees back just up towards the ceiling. You can draw them back into the chest and rock a little bit. So we always take the very end of class for self-care. So checking in with how you're feeling energetically, checking in with how you're feeling physically, and then choosing what you need here. So maybe you need a little bit of rest. Maybe you'd like to do some stretching. Looking ahead to what you have going on the rest of your day. If you'd like to concentrate a little more on your breathing, you can always connect to the exhale or the inhale. We'll take the last minute and a half here in silence. Coming back gently to your experience. And feeling 2 more full breaths. See if you can just focus and really feel 2 more breaths right here. And when you're ready, really simple, easy movements. Maybe that's wiggling your fingers and your toes. Maybe that's drawing your knees into your chest or taking a full body stretch. And then we slowly roll all the way on up to sitting. So you could roll to the side or do a roll up to sitting. And then when we get up, let's just make a little bit of an interlace fist and take the arms up and do a stretch. Thanks everyone for coming to class today. It's really good to see you. Sorry we went a little bit over time. We always do. It's so hard. Happy Tuesday. Thanks everyone online. See you all Friday. Have a good week.